Hello to everyone. If you know me or if you don't know me, my name is Josue Lopez. I am the technical program manager for the organization SHPE at UCI. And I lead workshops and projects throughout the year. And I'm a very big fan of GIFs, as you could tell by the penguin. It's my favorite form of communication, aside from code. And today we have an Agile Software Development 101. And basically I'll be covering some concepts that I've been able to gather throughout my 3 years, now my 4th year at UCI as a software engineer, different courses and different internships that I have, been able to chat with other people. And so I am using Slido. So if you do have any other questions, you can scan this QR code and from time to time I'll check them. Or you could just go to slido.com on your phone and just input that number and your questions come straight to me through the presentation as well. So yeah, I'll leave that up one more second. And then I'll come back to it as well. So just that the Zoom chat isn't the easiest to read as you're presenting, so Slido is better. So what's happening today? What's happening? We want to cover some announcements real quick. Then we'll go into the topic about what is Agile? What is Agile as a thought? What is Agile? How does Agile play into the software development lifecycle? And lastly, I was thinking about having a Google game as well and actually having people in breakout rooms, but we'll see if we get to that and if we have time. And yeah, and a little bit of today, as I mentioned, the core topic that we're going to chat about today are 3 things. What is Agile? Why should I care or bother to think Agile or, have it in my life, or, why is it popular? And then the last one is how. How can I use it and be more practical with Agile? So just as a quick announcement, there is a UCI STEM. I was going to add some code here, some link here, but just Google it up. It's UCI STEM Fair, and I just want to give a big plug. We have a SHPE alumni who is now a software engineer and is going to be giving one-on-one interviews with Esri. And Esri is a geospatial technology company. And so I'll share, quick 30 seconds of what that is. But if you're really interested if you're looking for a full-time or internship, I definitely recommend looking at this company on Handshake, and they'll be there Thursday the 15th. So that's a little quick intro here.
That location is important in people's lives. Using GIS, we can view, understand, question, visualize, and interpret data in visual ways that reveal relationships and patterns, which allows us to make better decisions. For example, a meteorologist might study the paths of hurricanes to predict where and when they might occur in the future. A city planner can choose the best location for a new park or hospital, ensuring that they are built in the place where they're needed the most. GIS is essential to understanding what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen in geographic space.
Cool. So that's just a little bit about them. If you're really interested in this type of technology, look them up, Esri, UCI Center. Moving on, week 3, we'll have an ICS and engineering alumni panel. This is something really new that we're piloting this year. And so we'll have reps from different types of major, different backgrounds, different walks of life. And it's going to be super awesome. We'll have software engineering, computer science engineering, computer science, and of course, BIM, business info management. Super excited. We hope that for the coming years, we'll have all 8 ICS majors being represented on this panel. And this year we're excited for our speakers. And so that will be next week, Tuesday, the same time, same place. And so, yeah. We also have conference prep workshops. They have been promoted on Facebook, and this is, the lineup we do have a networking session, I believe, with Raytheon. I don't know if Melina, you're on the call. Yeah? Okay, awesome. So if you have more plugs to that, Melina, feel free to drop them in the chat so people can follow through with those. And then there's also a last one. Oh, there's one today, and there's one going to be there's gonna be another one next week as well. Cool. And we have a ship social. So if you're a fan of Spanish slang, come out. It's gonna be exciting. As you can already tell, there are some. There's like a little quiz question. It's not a quiz. Don't worry about that. But it's just a time to have fun, and how much do you know your Spanish? It's gonna be an interesting one. So feel free to check it out on Facebook. It's gonna be pretty cool. All right, and then membership. If you haven't considered it, go check it out on our website. Paid members, they get early access to opportunities, other conference reimbursement. I think there was one deadline already that passed. They're reimbursing for a conference. That might be over, but we still have ongoing opportunities like scholarships, swag box, which is a very big one. And so look into that if you're really interested. There's that option as well. All right, so I know I took a little bit of time with announcements, but what are you most interested today? What do you want to learn most today? So go on Slido. I know we have, let me see, we have 12 people, minus one, right? 11, because that's me. We have 11 people, so I'm hoping to see some responses here to kind of gauge how our conversation is going to go. I'll kind of move through the slides based on what people are thinking. So if you haven't participated, I'm hoping, to see 11 here. I don't want to move on until everyone has engaged with Slido as well. So giving some time here. And then by no means I want to put out that disclaimer, like by no means am I a certified project manager, certified Agile lead coach. But I have gotten the opportunity and really great chance to work with a lead Agile coach this summer at Target, where I was, guided on one-on-one mentorships. Prior to that, I had a whole full year of experience working at a startup based in Irvine, where they use a lot of Agile mindset and frameworks. So we're still missing 2 more people. Hoping they could get it, the last second. So hopefully we can tailor this as well. Beautiful. So this is looking good. This is awesome. This is how I really wanted to frame our conversation today. So what it seems like most people, about almost the half of people want to go over what is Agile. So we'll cover that, then we'll narrow down to, how can I start using Agile, and then why is it, interesting, why is it good, and why is it popular? So we'll start with what is Agile. So Agile itself is beyond frameworks. It's beyond what you maybe have heard as Scrum, extreme programming. These are all more practical techniques they're using. And then, I'm quoting here specifically the sources that I've started to use. And my bad, you're already seeing some of this. But some quick notes. Agile is a mindset. And it's a philosophy that describes principles, and 12 to be exact. And I'll go over that one right there as well. And honestly, I think that Agile is meant for those who are in very rapid environments. You're responding to a lot of change. And so this is really important to understand that Agile is not one specific tool. It's not one specific thing that you're always practicing. I know a lot of engineers are using Scrum or extreme programming. These are derived from the mindset of Agile. And Agile is based on a couple of things, 12 principles and something called an Agile manifesto. And if you've never heard of it, there is such thing. There's something called an Agile manifesto. And I'll go over a little bit of its history as well. So to understand a little bit more about what we have today, we have to understand what we had before. And this thing This slide is dedicated to the waterfall method. If you haven't heard of it, feel free to Google it. It's what has been used in industry for since 90s, 80s, 70s, right? It's the old way of producing software, which a lot of companies still use. They have a very linear approach, requirement analysis. You get the requirements, you design something, you implement, you test, and then until the end, you deploy. And then if something goes wrong, then you have to start all over, right? Hence the waterfall. This rhythm can be very boring to some people. It could cost a lot of money. There's some courses out there if you're more interested in this. I believe informatics teaches one as well. They also have informatics 121 if you're further interested in different life cycles of software. But it is an old method, right, that people used to use. And Agile is something fairly new, but at the same time, the mindset has always been there. So I kind of shared a little bit more about Agile. There's one thing that's super important, and let me know in the chat, have you ever heard of the Agile Manifesto? Is this something new? So I just wanted to know. And maybe you could also share on, looking at my next slides already. Let me know here, have you heard of the Agile Manifesto before? And I think this is where you can ask questions. So if it's in the form of question, it's okay. But the Agile Manifesto, and just for a little bit of context here, it's a document that was formed back in 2001. There was a group of people who left to Utah, to the mountains of Utah. They had a whole retreat. It's a group of 17 people. They got together, and these are experts in the field of software development, project managers, you name them. These are all different experts. They went to the Lodge Motel out in somewhere in Utah, and 17 people just got together and they started skiing. And from there came an Agile Manifesto. And so this is something that was produced out of that meeting, out of that retreat from all these software developers. This is 2001, February. So, and here's what it says, like, we are uncovering better ways to develop software by doing it and by helping others. And through this work, we have to come to value. So these are people who are experts in the field, and they come to value different things and different forms of developing software, but their core commonalities that they were able to find, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So these are things that, I'm trying to prep kind of your mindset. I'm trying to gear you into what is that mindset that they're having, because it's really important to understand, what is Agile based under when you go to talk to, other representatives from other companies as well. And these people who were describing the manifesto, they said, working software over comprehensive documentation. So it's better to have, although both things are good, right? But we value more the things on the left than on the right. They want working software than just documenting pages upon pages that aren't even software. So they also mentioned customer collaboration over negotiation. So instead of, try and negotiate, just try to collaborate more with the customer. These are things that are included into the mindset as well. And then the most crucial one as well is responding to change. And we'll see in a quick video right now what it means to respond to change and how to iterate, because this is one of the most important pieces about Agile, being flexible to respond to change instead of being structured to a single plan. As in the old age, you had a plan, but if something breaks throughout testing, you're able to go back. You're responding to change, but the old ways are telling you to go in a linear fashion. So, and they ended it by saying, that is, while there is value on the right, the value on the items on the left, there's more value on the things on the left. So this is something that you maybe want to consider, into putting into your mindset about being Agile, being an engineer. This is something really interesting. It might come, as a different approach, might be something super radical or something that you're already practicing yourself, you know? And so if you're interested more in reading about it, it's something super interesting. They have a whole website and it looks like an old scroll. Check it out. It's Agile Manifesto. All right, so I'll cover, and I believe we said we wanted to cover how to be a practical and a user of Agile. So I'll quickly speed through why are some of these things important. Some of the benefits of Agile. Definitely, it increases productivity. It reduces your time to market. Whether you have a software project, there are teams that want to collaborate faster, better quality, and a lot of people would rate it as fun or more enjoyable than following a very structured plan. And I did want to make a notable mention. The Harvard Business Review made a post, a whole website about how we should embrace Agile. And throughout this, they were mentioning a lot of interesting facts that they were seeing from these companies that they were looking at companies throughout, 25, that had 25 and 30 years of a track and seeing jumps in productivity and happiness. So bringing teams together and being a little bit more agile brought this this productivity to them. So I definitely recommend, checking out this as well, but also noting that, it brings more quality, it brings more more iterations into the process. And so I'll share a little bit more in a quick video here. One of the things that you do have to understand is that although we do have the mindset, there are separate things that are more granular. These are called frameworks, and one very popular one is Scrum. And so the way that this mindset is put into action is through frameworks like Scrum. Instead of following a linear pattern, you want to have a little bit more iteration. So I want to introduce a little bit more on how this framework comes into action. And I know that a lot of people are interested in how can I implement, how can I use Agile in a practical manner. So I'll just kind of show this 1 minute clip right here.
Complex projects can lead to real headaches. Organizing the team, changes in scope, roles that aren't clear. But you can change that with Scrum, an agile framework. At its foundation, Scrum can be applied to any project or product development effort. Here's how it works. A product owner creates the product backlog, a prioritized wish list. During sprint planning, the team pulls a chunk from the top of that list and decides how to complete it. The team has a set time frame, the sprint, to complete their work. They meet in a daily scrum to keep the work moving forward. Along the way, the Scrum Master keeps the team focused. At the end of the sprint, the work should be potentially shippable. The team conducts a sprint review on the product and a retrospective on the process. Then, they choose the next chunk of the backlog, and the cycle repeats. With Scrum, you can ensure the most valuable work has been completed by the time the project ends. Tackle your projects with Scrum.
All right. So that was a quick promo video. They're one of the biggest websites out there and the biggest source of information. So I definitely recommend Scrum Alliance. This is kind of one of the biggest ways that people implement. It's a very popular framework. And so I want to go back and I want to reiterate and re-emphasize that Agile is more of a mindset, that you're practicing principles of separate values of what it came from, which was the manifesto. But there are certain ways that you could exemplify and start using this mindset, and which is a very popular one is the Scrum framework. So as you saw, it wasn't very linear. This is something that is becoming very popular. 3 things that, you should definitely note about this, and I think they even have it here. when you're working within a Scrum and a team environment, there are three major roles. The Scrum Master, that is the person who's keeping people on target throughout these iterations. You have the Product Owner, the person who has the ideas, delivering the ideas, making sticky notes on the wall, whether that's having a board on a website and moving those tasks down the to-do list. And then you have your software developers. So these are the three components of how this framework works. There are many more other popular ones like extreme programming. I've mentioned there's a whole umbrella. If you want to, investigate a little bit more, there's something called the umbrella of Agile. And there's a couple ones like XP, I mentioned Scrum, Kanban. That's a very famous one. I'll show you an example of how you can use that in real life using GitHub. And there's so many other acronyms that I, completely cannot name off the top of my head. But if you're interested more about learning about different frameworks, I recommend starting off with Scrum. That is one that you can start today. It's something super simple. The concepts are not too difficult. They're not meant to be a difficult framework. And it's the most popular. Different companies, you name them, Google, Microsoft, even at Target, they're using Scrum. And it's a very popular thing to use. And I do recommend it. Why to use it? It's very popular as well. And then I think I missed one. I think that one of the crucial things that I also wanted to mention was why software development, why agile software development. And so before I continue, I want to make a pause. I know I've been rambling for almost 20 minutes. So I want to make note of any questions that you might have, or maybe some notes that you've already mentioned as well. So feel free to bring them up here. Okay. So we have some people that have heard of it, and I'm assuming this is about the manifesto. Okay, this is new. Okay, definitely, yeah. We have a very popular class that is taught by a renowned professor by the last name of Navarro. They're taking your last name too, Milena. Professor Emily Navarro is a very awesome professor that teaches different types of programming, different types of software development as well. And so I want to come back, reiterate, Agile is a mindset, right? Agile is a mindset. It's not a practice that you're doing. It's not, Scrum. Agile is the mindset, and it's more of the values that you hold. Your values are responding to change, collaboration, working software, interactions with individuals. This is really important instead of having this old rigorous waterfall method, very linear. And so I want to share a little bit more on how current teams are currently collaborating. This by far is the best video that I found that puts GitHub in a nutshell. And I think this is really important because this brings back into the conversation about collaboration. Although they're not using a specific agile framework, GitHub is one of the collaboration tools that are, every software engineer, every computer science student must have some sort of understanding about it. So if you haven't delved into it, don't worry. This is something that many people are new, and so I just kind of wanted to share before I explain a little bit more further down the line. How is it that you can embed Agile and become a more agile engineer using GitHub as well? So this is meant for a quick intro on how people are currently using GitHub, and beyond just saving code on the internet. So this is how people are meant to collaborate and leverage the power of GitHub. So we'll watch this quick video.
Okay, what is GitHub? Well, GitHub is a platform that helps people solve problems by building software together. So, how does it work? This is Sam. Sam works on tractors all day, but not in the way you might be thinking. She builds the software that helps make tractors more efficient. And she does this on GitHub with the help of her team, VJ, Melinda, and Mike. Now, even though they all work on the same project, Sam and her team don't all work in the same part of the world. This is Eddie. Eddie also works on tractors all day, except he actually works on the tractors all day. And this is the Harvester L700. It's the latest flagship in the company's fleet of tractors. It's full of sensors and processors that produce a ton of diagnostic data. Eddie has a great idea for how farmers might share their data and improve their harvests. So Eddie opens an issue on GitHub. Issues are discussion threads where people can report bugs, request features.
So this is one very big thing that I wanted to mention. Issues are the way that, even for us in tech committee, we're gonna be leveraging these separate GitHub features on how to stay connected, how to share ideas. So definitely I want to make a big emphasis on this, on how people are collaborating.
Or even just ask questions. Sam is the first one on her team to see Eddie's issue, and she thinks that VJ would be the best person to start the job. And here's where we get into the nuts and bolts. Eddie isn't the only person using the Harvester L700. All over the world, other tractors are collecting moisture data, and they need to keep running smoothly even while VJ is working on the new features. He needs a dedicated place to experiment, so none of his changes end up on the farm before they're ready. So he creates a branch of the code, an alternate timeline where he can safely make changes to the software. Now he's ready to start writing a new feature. GitHub tracks VJ's changes and saves snapshots of his progress. When he's ready to collaborate on the changes with his team, he opens a pull request on GitHub. Pull requests let you show others the changes you're proposing so they can review and discuss them. This means VJ's teammates can help with roadblocks and even make improvements. On GitHub, everyone has a copy of the project. So if Melinda has an idea for something that will help make VJ's work even better, she can add it to the branch herself. GitHub keeps a record of everyone's contributions and feedback in the pull request, alongside relevant messages from the team's other systems. Once the team has signed off on the changes, VJ can incorporate the new code into the project. The new feature will be available to everyone as soon as he merges it in. Now farmers everywhere can all benefit from Eddie's great idea. But this is really only the beginning of the story. Because GitHub is the largest community of developers in the world, with millions of people sharing their projects, Eddie's idea could end up helping people in unimaginable ways. What kinds of problems are you trying to solve? Whether you're an engineer, a code enthusiast, or even a farmer trying to harvest grain, software touches every corner of our lives. GitHub is where people build that software. It's how they build software, together.
Oh, okay, nice. So definitely, I think that this relates to a lot of the things that we've been chatting about, software development mainly. But one of the things that I want you to take out of this is the collaboration that they're creating. GitHub is one of those things that if you haven't started using it, I would definitely recommend starting leveraging those different tools and features like issues, pull requests for other people to do reviews on your code, being open to open source projects, so you can collaborate beyond your own code and you can start contributing to other factors and other software out there in the world that may touch other things. There's a very big famous quote that I've heard from someone that I don't know who it is, but I think it's software is eating the world, and I really enjoy that, and kind of relates to this. But this is just kind of a little intro, you know, how GitHub allows collaboration. There's no mention of being agile. There's no mention of Scrum. There's no mention of you know, some sort of mindset. It's already embedded within how GitHub works. So if you haven't used it, I definitely recommend to start looking into it. There's a quick blog up there that I have. So if you're interested in how to become more an agile engineer, leveraging GitHub, leveraging these other tools, I definitely recommend go check that out as well. Um, and this is one of the most, if not the most common way people are writing software, the software development. And so on top of this, many people attach these on top of GitHub. And so these are different ceremonies that they call them ceremonies. But you have the whole Scrum Master, the product owner. There, the product owner, you can already see that if you combine both, the product owner is kind of like the person putting in the ideas into the issues. And your Scrum Master is the person who's going to meet with you on a weekly, daily basis, looking over those issues, looking over those reviews as well. So that's just kind of a way that, you know, Scrum works and GitHub works, but when you bring them together, it creates a even more faster and more agile environment, hence the name Agile. You want to stay on your feet, responding to change and ideas that people might bring. Um, so with that being said, I want to jump into GitHub project boards. I don't know if anyone is familiar with this. Is this your first time? Let me know in the chat, like first time or yeah, I used it, you know, last quarter at Tech Committee. um, um, okay, definitely. Okay. And then I think they had another question here, which was, okay, no, this one was an older question. If you do have questions, feel free to bring them, you know, up in both the chat or the Slido chat as well. Sweet. Okay, so this is one of those tools that I would also like to introduce to you. GitHub has a project board feature. Essentially is you can add these issues to your project. For instance, we have a ship at UCI account and we have a folder which is going to be called Google App Scripts. That's, you know, the directory of the folder where we hold code. But as we add issues, we can track them throughout their journey. And so we can have different columns. This is a very basic framework also called Kanban, where you want to have a to-do, in progress, or a done label or column. And basically you're tracking them down their path. The cool thing is that they've now added this and it's already embedded within the same tool that you use to save your code. So there's a button, of course, it's projects, and one of the cool features here is that you can, if you already have them, you just take the URL and you paste it into a new note when you add like the plus button here, or you can add them on the spot. And so this is where you can start tracking. It's another form of project management that's growing. It's a new domain called Agile Management. And so this is really interesting. If you are interested in more of this, I recommend looking into GitHub and looking into project boards, because this is how you can keep your tasks organized as well. So I see we have money. Nah, for money, it's cream. Interesting, Lou. I have no idea what you meant by cream. Oh, okay. Let's get this money. That doesn't make sense. I thought it was let's get this bread. Anyways, um, okay. So just as a recap, how can you start becoming more an agile engineer? We mentioned GitHub, how people are starting to collaborate using issues, using pull requests, reviews, and lastly, the team boards. It's something that even Tech Committee is starting to leverage this. We started leveraging this last year, where you can have faster meetings, the clearer priorities, and the visual is a really great way. As you could tell, it's almost like a to-do list, right? You're adding your to-dos and you're swiping them as you're getting them done. So it's a very clear way to take things off your mind. And whenever you have your weekly or daily meetings, using the Scrum method, the Scrum framework, my bad, it just has faster meetings, and the overall goal for that meeting is just clear and visually, and it's all laid out. So if you're trying to become more agile and you're still not leveraging GitHub projects, I recommend this, okay? So with that said, there are more questions. I'm sure I did not cover on its entirety what is Scrum and what is GitHub. I hope that you can go back and watch these videos. Week 2, we're already here. This is kind of what we have left. This is the roadmap that I like to call. Before I move on, I want to share. Like, does anyone need? Okay, I'll drop this here. Give me a sec. Hopefully I could copy that. And so if you're interested more into diving deeper on Scrum, which is a framework on how to think agilely, I'll drop it in the chat right now. So definitely consider, Scrum. Obviously we went over, the 3 roles, how they host their meetings, keeping things in a cycle, iterative, and then lastly, we went over, what is GitHub and how you can leverage this as an engineer to become more agile as well. So I'll quickly share this one as well in the chat, so if you're interested more. Cool. So with that said, I don't know if there are any. I'll make a quick pause here. Is there something that you would like more further clarification? If there's something that didn't really make sense, or I sped through, or would you like me to go back to the slide? Let me know on the chat so I can, take a quick second to pause there. If not, you could use a little thumbs up. I don't have the reactions anymore here. I thought I did. Anyways, if you have okay, nice. I see Melina has clapped. Let's see, anyone else? Okay, I see we have a couple of thumbs up here. Cool. All right, so if there are any questions, moving down, put it down on the chat. I'll stay here for for the next 15 or so minutes until the end of the hour. And let me see. I don't know if there are any other. No, it doesn't seem like we have a question there. So as I said, we're covering this series. Both the teams are going through a roadmap, and also people who are joining us today, like this meeting, we're also covering different tech series. Today we went over what is Agile. Again, it's a mindset, not an actual thing that you're doing. There are different methods, like different frameworks like Scrum, and tools that you can leverage that derive from that mindset. So like GitHub and Scrum. Week 3, we'll have our engineering panel. We'll have them talk about the different avenues that they took, different vehicles within that avenue, in their major and where they're at now, what they were doing previously. And we'll continue working with teams offline. I have separate meetings with them. So if you are part of the team, just expect for me to follow up with your team on Slack, and then on Google Calendar for a Zoom meeting on sprints and roadmaps. And so quick highlight here. We are using separate terms that are part of the Scrum method, and one of them is roadmap. That's where you lay out all your sprints, basically the focus on what you want to do for that given week. And then towards the end, we'll have that demo day as well. Just a reminder for everyone, this is kind of what we're going to be doing throughout the quarter. And if there are any questions about this, drop them in the chat as well. Um, just lastly, I want to remind everyone, these are recorded. So I think, yes, they are recording on the cloud. So if you missed last meeting where we had the intro to tech, feel free to go to the YouTube channel. I was able to upload them here on the YouTube, so feel free to scan that and you can check that out on your phone. What is Intro to Tech Committee, and a couple of the different projects that we were able to talk about, where we had like a dashboard, different websites, and cool stuff like that. And we were hosting those videos here on the website, but I think that it's more practical if we have recordings. Why not just put them on YouTube? So we have a YouTube there, and we hope for that to grow, and people just to check them out on their phones whenever they can't make it or whenever they want to play them back again. So before we kind of like officially end this, I want to know, like, what is one thing that you learned about today? I want to know, that could be a whole sentence, that could be a word. The thing that you took out most of today, that could have been about Agile, how to become an engineer, why to use Agile. Let me know. And this is something so I could, I want you to share, and I want everyone to kind of participate in this forum so we can, collectively see what are people taking out from this meeting today. Oh, and then I do see some of the questions, Isaiah, and then I think the follow-up for right now, we did have a cutoff for the teams just because tech committee wanted to form the teams and have them ready. The good thing and the fortunate thing is that we do have more openings for next quarter. And this is to allow tech committee to prepare time, resources, prepare roadmaps, prepare projects. So in regards to fall, yes, we are kind of late to join, but we have a whole year. We have nearly over, a bit more than 30 weeks. So for fall, we are, but I want to bring up the website so you could stay posted. So this is our site, uci.edu/ship/tech. So if you go, oh, not shoe. That one's gonna give you a 404. But if you go to, if you want to stay in touch on what, when projects are open, I'll be posting it on our main website. So if you go to our tech committee tab, that's where I make the application link live. And the basic process is I'll have a Google form. I have, whether that is 3 to 4 projects, they'll kind of be laid out in a little grid, and you'll get to optionally choose or rank which are the projects that you'd like to join based on their description and their name and what they're doing, and the roles as well. So that's kind of how we rank them as well. And based on your past experience and what you're looking to learn, I don't have any barriers for myself. The tech committee in the past is hoping to see, like some interest in programming to join a team. So you don't need a resume, you don't need anything. The idea of these projects is for you to come and learn, and being able to apply that same skill, that same experience that you learned in tech committee to take it to industry, slap it on a resume, and bring back your experience to tech committee. So if you want to learn more about those projects, feel free to go to that website on ship/tech. It is a bit late for fall, but we'll have things open for winter and spring as well. And we have here, what is something that you learned today? So we have here GitHub. Obviously, that's one of the biggest tools that is used out there. Other Agile vocab. Awesome. Cool. GitHub terminology. The Agile Manifesto is one very big thing that I learned this summer. A little bit of history about Agile. Cool. With that being said, I want to encourage people, if you are slightly interested in projects, stay with us throughout the year. Stick with us. I think that even though there aren't any openings right now for a project, I think the tech series or the workshop series that I want to call, um, will kind of guide you through the different technologies, the different languages and tools that we will be leveraging. So if you want to stick with us, I recommend it. This is going to be a really great preparation for you to be embedded and join a team. And I'm talking about like Python and what is Bootstrap and HTML, um, and these different resources. So I highly want to emphasize, stick with us throughout this fall, stick with us winter, and if you want to join, in winter or spring, we'll have those open for you as well. So awesome. So I want to, take a time to appreciate and thank you all for participating and engaging with me today in regards to, what is something that you wanted to learn today and something that you took out. As we can recall, there's three things that we were going over. What is Agile? Why is it important? And what are some tools that you could use to become a bit more agile? And as I can see, we have people who learn a little bit about the history, a little bit about the tools, and a little bit more about the vocab. So I'm excited that people were able to take and extract value from this. So with that being said, I want to wrap it up. I want to say, thank you for joining. We'll have a next meeting, week 2. Oh, sorry. Um, I should have said week 3, perhaps, but it's October 20th. That's the actual date, 3:30, same time, same place, and we'll go over not a topic, but we'll have a nice panel of engineers and alumni.